Welcome back to Entropia Hustle. I'm Grandpa Funk, and today I'm going to provide a small guide, a very simple, basic guide for new players who are just getting into the game, just created the account, and finished the download. They're ready to go, or maybe it's during their download. I don't know. Anyways, to kick off, I must sort of say that this is mainly after the tutorial. The guide will obviously resume after the tutorial. However, there will be an option in the tutorial to skip. Don't skip the tutorial, okay? The tutorial has some great rewards waiting for you at the end if you actually complete it 100% to the end. The tutorial offers some great rewards. I think there's like a healer involved. There's a weapon. You get a bunch of random new stuff to begin the game with, and it's just worth it. Okay, so just go ahead and make sure you do the tutorial. It's a bit unintuitive. It's a bit counterintuitive compared to say other games that are a bit more mechanically inclined. This game isn't about the mechanics. It's not about how good you are on a keyboard. It's more about how smart. It's more about your IQ and what you apply to the game from a real world perspective. So, anyways, the other factor to take into this is I think it's at the end of the tutorial, but it could be before you even start the tutorial. But you'll get to choose which planet you want to start on. So, with that being said, the guide has to be sort of prepared for that. I can't just make it all about Calypso. I mean, Calypso is pretty overpopulated at this point. So I'm not going to just do a Calypso guide where you land at Camp Icarus and then you go on. It's going to have to be more of like a general approach, like this part of the game is what you want to do first, and then move on to this, and then blah blah blah. So, anyways, just keep that in mind that it will apply to pretty much all planets, and yeah. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first step when you've just logged into the game, you completed the tutorial. The first step is to go ahead and find a bunch of the starter missions. Now, you don't want to do so many missions that you eventually run out of any sort of resource in the game, whether it's pet or weapons or whatever. You just want to do the very absolute basics. Now, Camp Icarus offers some very easy ones that are just like go and find a scout, and then they might give you some ammo or something like that, and you can sort of get out scot free with what you got there. And that's what I'm talking about. Don't go ahead, like, honestly, if you do one quest, it'll take you to another and another and another. Everything is somewhat linked in the end, so you don't really want to just go ahead and do everything, but understand that missions should be on your mind about at this point. If you're a free to play player, it's not a bad time to go and start sweating just a little bit, or even if you're just not sure of the game yet, just go and do some research, go and explore, and do some of the missions along the way. Some of them are say if you land in Camp Icarus, which is on Calypso, there's a city called Port Atlantis. If you land and you go to Port Atlantis, which is it's a little bit of a ways away, you'll have a vehicle from the tutorial, so you might as well just use that and go over to Port Atlantis. Once you've done that, finding one of the teleporters will be the next pretty easy thing. It's on one of the big buildings. Once you find both teleporters, because there is two, there's one outside of the mall and then there's one outside of the larger complex of it all. There's a person right next to it who will offer you a bunch of free teleports. So go ahead, take the teleport, and just go and explore maybe, or go to a place and have a read of some of the quests. You're looking for quests that are not really asking too much of you, just very basic ones. But you must understand that many, if not all, planets will have beginner quests. One example was on Next Island, right where I am here. You land in and you start and you go to one of the forget exactly where it is, but it's like a dock. There's a dock out here. You go up to the dock and there's a cargo manager dude, or the dock manager, and he gives you a quest. I think it's to kill 3 papus, or maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was at a research center or something, somewhere around here, some sort of place where they do science, or it looks like that, right? And this person just said, go and kill 3 papus. It's very simple. These papus had 10 HP. They were level 1. It was so easy. You go up, you kill it, and then he gives you 3 ped of ammo, I'm pretty sure. It could actually have been more, but I know that it was a minimum of 3 ammo. And it doesn't look like much, but it keeps you going, and it's free. You don't. A lot of people just dive straight into the game and they start, doing this crazy crap. You don't need to. You don't need to go hunting. I say crazy crap, but hunting at level 1 is not really like a profitable task. It's not really what you go and strive to do straight away. So, anyways, if you do go and kill 3 Papus and get 3 ped and you find a mission like that, definitely do it. Take the 3 ped and turn it into something else that you can actually sell and get off the ground with. Other quests that are here on Next Island, I know I'm referring to Next Island a lot, but remember there are quests for all around the Entropia Universe that offer this. I'm just speaking specifically for Next Island. There's a quest to kill these screechers here, these birds here, right? You got to kill 50 small, medium, and large size ones. By doing that, it'll offer you 15 ped of oil. Now, it's pretty good that it's in oil. Oil sells on the auction house all day long. So in the end, it can offset your whole hunt. You might go into the hunt. You might go into the hunt with 100 ped of ammo, which is a lot for that sort of a quest. But say you do that, you go in with 100 ped of ammo, and then you get 90 ped back, and you're like, oh, that's a scam. No, it's not a scam. Anyways, that's a discussion for another day. But guess what? You go and hand in the mission, and you get 15 ped of oil, putting you 5 ped ahead of where you started. It's a daily quest, so that's just an example of something really good that they offer. So anyways, just keep that in mind, that missions will be somewhat of a focus. If you deposit, missions become infinitely more important, because missions can unlock some rather lucrative rewards in the end. If we're going to look at, say, Mission Galactica, for an instance, I got to bring back the, here we go. We got Mission Galactica right here. So you start stage 1, 2, 3. When you get to, I forget where it is, but when you get to kind of like the end, I've got it here somewhere. So when you get to stage 6, then you get a reward, restoration chip adjusted. This is one of the great rewards of the game. You can simply just buy all of the things you need to get this, and then technically you just bought the thing. But either way, you can just grind for it and do the missions one by one. Now, this is just an example that if you deposit a little bit, then a little bit of this could go towards getting this chip, and you won't need another chip ever again. The healing it's over the top. It's crazy. So it's great, and that's all you would ever need, right? And you could go and offer healing services to high level players at that point, and no one would really mind. They would like your services at that point. So mainly focus on missions. It's not so true for a free-to-play player. If you're a free-to-play player, you definitely want to just go and get, say, 10 ped of sweat and sell it. You can be lucky and get 1k sweat and sell it for 2k 2 ped. Sorry, not 2k ped. Jeez. So if you go and get 1,000 sweat, then turn it into 2 ped. If you really have time at the start of this and you're not really fast, or maybe you're doing something else, sweating is a great way to just bring up some skills for your character, defensive skills, I mean, and from then on you can transition that into other things. And remember, you can always chip out your skills. You can always just take your skills, put it on like a hard drive or something, and then people can take that skill and buy it off the auction house. So you got to understand that nothing is really lost in this game. Everything holds value. Whether it's a lower cost than what you put in is at the discretion of what you put in. But in general, that's a rule. So the next goal, once you have done some starter missions, would be to decide what you are going to do and align your time towards that. So honestly, I think just do some research at this point. Once you've done the starter missions and you understand the mechanics and you've explored a little bit, it's important to explore and get a bit of a mind map. I say explore and you probably wonder, oh, what's the point? I mean, in other games, it wasn't that big of a deal, but in this game, it is. In this game, it's sort of like a dignified stock exchange, and the game is the actual building. It's the actual trade center where you go in and you can find everything. It's a bit more like an interactive version of that, but still it is what it is. So do some exploring and then figure out what is a profession that is attractive to you. Some professions could involve being a sweat gatherer, so that's more of like a free-to-play type of profession, because it's one of the best ways to get free ped in the game, which is like the money, the currency or whatever. Other ones would be hunting. So you can combine sweating and hunting. It's called swanting, and basically you sweat a mob until it has no more sweat, and then you just shoot it. And then everyone shoots it, actually, not just you. And so then you get the most that you possibly could out of the mob, and you can do it with a very low cost weapon. And generally the mob is best that way. You could also mine. So there is, alongside hunting, I'll just kill this bird real quick and I'll show you. So alongside hunting, there is also mining. You'll probably have to find one of these. They're the TT beginner ones, but it's like a little laptop. You just equip it like a weapon, and then this little thingy comes up. You probably saw this from the tutorial. You select what you want to do, and then you drop a probe. There's the probe right here, and it'll start looking for resources inside of the earth itself. At this point, you look around. Oh, look, I found one. So, you just follow the arrow. You did this in the tutorial, we know. So that's one profession you could go out of your way to do. I'm not that experienced with hunting, but there are guides out there and there's more information. A lot of people swear by mining. They love it. They love mining, and that's all they ever do. They go to certain planets and they mine, or they'll mine even in space or hunt in space. So yeah, keep that in mind. Now, the next one I'm going to bring up is a little bit more, it would be a little bit more familiar to just like any old average player, and that is trading. Now, trading is a good profession. It's very necessary. It's basically just moving the resources or items through the game, getting it to other players, and it's a game of patience at the end of the day. A lot of people do it just by the side of their office job or something, right? Like they'll be sitting there, they'll be doing their work, their usual work, and all the while they'll do a copy paste in a chat and try and sell the items or resources they have. One of these resources that I know works really well is pyrite ore. It's basically the most lucrative resource in the game. It has the most uses. It has the best use. Sorry. It has always a high markup. So markup is basically the value the players put on it, not just the value of Entropia. So when we look at a weapon here and we go to the information, we have the TT value. That's the company Mindark. That's how they determine the value of it. And then we have the market value right here, which is how players value it. So obviously people who can get this for this price, they go ahead and sell it for 129%, and they make 29% profit in the end, because they made their 100% back plus another 29%. So it's just a nice way to follow the market, and it's used for trading. You're probably aware of this if you ever did the Steam Marketplace trades. So like you start off with say like a 2-cent Counter-Strike gun, and then you develop it from there. Maybe you gamble it, and then you get something a little bit better that people actually might want, and then you keep moving on. And you've probably noticed that it's mainly a game of patience, and that's still true to this game. It's still a game of patience. If you buy a weapon here for just above its normal price, or just below, what players are going to buy, then you wait a while, you sit on it, you keep advertising it, you'll find someone who'll buy it at your price eventually. It's always been proven true, and that's the whole idea of trading. If you have more of an item or a resource, then it changes a little bit. So if you're specifically trading resources, let's say muscle oil here, right? So as you can see, muscle oil only has 102% markup. So that's not very much, obviously, compared to that weapon we saw, right? But that being said, it's not like this isn't being traded. We had 4.5k peds sold just today, like being moved through the auction house alone. That's not trades. That's not player-to-player trades. That's on the auction house being sold 4.5k ped today. And over the decade, you can see there's been millions of ped done that way. So with that being said, there is still a market for it. You just have to buy it at that price. You got to do a bit of maths and figure it out, and you will eventually, settle on something that works. The auction house can be a bit more difficult because it will ask of a fee to put something on the auction house. So you can't just use it at your leisure. One auction house tip I always forget, but I tell other people is that, if you can put it up for 1 day, then you can put it up for 7. The price doesn't change. The duration can, and that's always better. The longer that it is on the auction house, the better it'll be for you, because then you have a wider net of people that are going to see your item and make a decision on it. And so with that being said, things are sold at 102%, 0.34. That's the average, remember. That's average compared, some things would be a little bit higher, some a little bit lower. It's all about what is the demand for it at that moment. So yeah, moving on. Trading can definitely be a working habit for you, but it's not really like game-esque at that point. It's more like a stock exchange you're dealing with. You still have a lot of social interaction there, so feel free to go and start a mentor program with someone. Feel free to go and do a bunch of these other things in the game that are still really fun and low risk and not that disruptive to your trading ability. But and the other thing is add it in with other stuff. Maybe you're a miner and a trader. So you mine in your spare time with your profits, but predominantly you're trading, and that's what you do most of the time. Either profession that you choose, it needs to be a focus of work. Like, you need to put a lot of focus into it if it's going to work. Even hunting always starts out very badly. Generally, for most players, it starts off not working really. It's one of the reasons people come to the game, and it's also the reason people leave the game, is because they think the game is about hunting and hunting only, or mining and mining only, and they never branch out, and they never understand why their hunting is not working and stuff. And just to give you an idea, I'd say there's only like a couple hundred, maybe a few hundred players in the game, being nice here, right? Maybe there's only a few hundred players in the game that actually profit from hunting, killing something and figuring out a reward from it and being able to sell it. They do it through a whole bunch of factors, connections that you might have. You might have a connection with a trader, right? He gives you the price you need. The weapon you have is a big deal. Like, some weapons in the game sell for $2,000, $2,000 US. So, you with your $20 gun, I mean, what are your odds of success, right? So you've got to take a lot of things into consideration. Hunting is one of those things that are a bit more relaxing and a bit more fun. It's like, it's not gambling. It's definitely not gambling, and it's not like a poker machine or whatever. It's not gambling, but you have a lot of control, but there's also a lot of ways to screw up. Like, you could easily just overgo it on a mob, just shoot the wrong mob, or there's so many places you could go wrong with it. With trading, it's a bit more specific. You're going to buy at this price, nothing less. You're going to sit there and be patient and then just flip it. Anyways, just to add as well, you could be a hairstylist. You could be someone who gets hair products, and through a bit of training and bringing themselves up to a certain level, they can do your hairstyle for you. I'll show you my hairstyle right now. Might as well. So as you can see here, I got this wavy hair, anime hair type thing. I got that from a beauty specialist, someone who works on doing hair, can color your hair, can do all that sort of stuff. That's a big deal in the game. I'm just saying. Another part of it is you might want to change the color of certain items. That can up the price of certain items. So say you crafted an item or bought an item and then you colored it, and now you sold it for more. Just an example. So there's many professions in the game. You could also heal people. You could just go ahead and just decide you're going to be the first aid medic, and you're going to find someone who likes to hunt, like say me or someone else, and you're going to offer them a healing service. It'll generally be for higher level players, because higher level players will actually need the healing. People that are about my level, they really don't actually need it. You can't actually sit there and say I need it. You'd rather just take a bit of a sacrifice. But other higher level players do need it. It is a demand. So yeah. Anyways, moving on. Once you've figured out what you do want to do some research. Say if it's mining or hunting, there is information out there. For instance, certain mobs will do certain damage to you. Certain mobs will have a certain amount of HP you'd like to know about before you waste any money on it. You'd want to know about your weapons and everything that you take to a hunt. With mining, in this area I'm in, you can get a different resource from, say, the next area that you're in. So you want to think about where you are mining as well. Some areas are specifically just for mining. There are no mobs out here, and so when you walk along there, you'll get a decent amount of resources. And blah blah blah. Do that research, do the due diligence. It'll pay off. The whole game is built on information. How well you deal with the information you get is key to being good at the game and being patient. So at this point, it's probably a good time to find a mentor. Is allowed to start mentoring. At that point, you just take on a disciple. It's done through the game's system, so it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like they join you under your disciplehood, I guess. I don't know. And anyways, it's not like player creator, right? This is done with the game, is my point. It's not like a mentor outside of the world or whatever. Outside of the game, it's literally you decide a mentor, and you'll have like a quest bar come up on the left, and it'll mark your progress along until you've completed the mentor program. You've graduated, right? Now, for graduating, it's a big deal because the mentor will get a piece of armor. He'll only get one piece of armor. It'll be random. It could be the feet, it could be the harness, who knows? It'll be random, right? That's all the mentor knows. But for you will get a full set of that same armor. So it's very worth it to find the mentor. It's pretty hands off as well. The mentor doesn't like have to follow you around all day. He basically just has to go kill one thing for you, do a craft with you or something, and then after that, you're all to yourself. At this point, I'm hoping you've sort of like put your foot in the ground and figured out what you want to do and why you're playing the game. Don't go and find a mentor just to half-ass it, because it is a lot of effort to complete the graduation program. It's a lot of time in the game. I have a friend who started last week, and he doesn't play a lot, but he's still doing it. He's 60% done. So definitely look ahead with it and try and make sure you get it done. Don't commit to it unless you're going to go all the way through to the end. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you can hunt or mine to make the graduation go through. I think even other things like sweating will make it work. I don't really know what qualifies the percentage to go up, but the goal is to get 100%, and then you will be rewarded with a piece of armor. That armor will be different depending on which planet you chose. If it's Calypso, it'll be Pixie. If it's next island, it'll be Atlas. If it's somewhere else, it'll be Muska. Okay, so just keep in mind with that, it's not where you began the mentorship as well. It's where you graduate. So you could do 90% of it on Calypso and then graduate on next island, and you will get the next island armor. Anyways, so moving on now. Assuming you now have received whatever armor it is you got, I personally like to take this time to do some of the better missions, some of the ones that might offer some more, and do some Codex. So you don't know about Codex yet, I haven't told you, but it's basically like is it even going to come up in interface here? Okay, so I'll sorry, I'll bring up the Codex and then I can show you. So we go up here, we got Codex. So on this planet next island here, these are the mobs I've been farming lately. So right now I'm killing screeches. You've probably seen these purple things as I've been going along. A piece of fruit, always pick up the fruit as it comes along. Anyways, so the more you kill these, the more the progress goes up, the higher the rank you get, and you get rewards for completing those ranks or whatever, right? And so you get to choose a stat that you're going to go ahead and level up. Remember that the game is pretty stat oriented. You want to have That's why we're trying to get you to focus in a certain area, even if it's hunting or mining, whatever. Just focus in a certain area, and that way you'll do the best you can at that point. So you don't need to branch off too far. It's good to include multiple professions into what you're doing, but still, it's whatever. At least focus and have a goal in mind. Now, by these other missions I'm talking about and Codex, there's a mission on Cyrene. It's a very, very good mission. I'm just going to use it as an example, but there are some items in the game that you definitely don't want to miss out on, and this will be one of them. So if I show you here, it looks pretty cool, like in your hands. It's very weird. This thing is called a hammer, apparently, but anyways. So we got the maze hammer here. It's a 5-ped TT. You don't want to TT it. Don't sell it to the trade terminal. But anyways, it'll show you some stats. These stats are very bad for whatever it's offering you. I mean, 4 to 8 damage, that I don't even know what that could kill. Probably nothing, right? But the important thing is the effect when it's equipped. So it increases your run speed by 10% while it's equipped. If I unequip it, then I don't get the run speed anymore. Simple to understand that, right? With that said, it's very, very worth it to go out of your way and go get it on Cyrene. There's other missions there on Cyrene. You can go ahead and do other like new player missions, like the ones you did on your starter planet. If you're lucky, maybe you signed up on a Saturday or something, and now it's Sunday, and you can get a free warp out to one of these planets. It's free because it's like a bus, basically. Normally, a warp is 25 ped, but on one day of the week, it's free. And so if you're there on that day, at that time, if you don't know what time it is, just look around, ask people in chat. Then yeah, jump on it, go over there and get the quest done. It's relatively easy to get done. It's cheap. I wouldn't say it's more than $10 to get it done, and it's worth it, So if you are depositing and stuff, probably go ahead and do some of these missions. The next part you might want is like, maybe create a society. Maybe you have a group of gamers you play with in your Discord. Go and make a society. Get them to play the game. The game is better with other people to play, and it becomes easier. You can all branch off and create a different profession for each other. There could be one dude who just does all the hairstylist stuff you guys want. You want your hair changed? Well, go to this guy. It could be that simple. There could be a dude who's always trading resources. When you start a society in the game, you could treat it somewhat like a business. And that being said, it becomes a lot more fun, even if it's hunting. If there's me and I've got 10 of me's, then I can kill better stuff, and it can still be equal. You'd choose the same weapons so that no one gets a more or less amount. And yeah, just go ahead and do that. So you'd want to start a society, or at least join one. Go and join one. Definitely talk to the person before you join. People will want to just invite you in just because, hey, let's just join it. And then there'll be some people that don't want to let you in because they don't want people who are inactive. So just find like a middle ground, someone who's interested in bringing out a society. I run a society. If you come onto the Twitch chat, then I will definitely bring you into the society, no problems. And yeah, we'll even find you a mentor from there if you want. So just saying, just get me in game or something. Send me a YouTube or whatever. Go find me on Twitch, and I'll do it right then and there. Now, at this point, you're probably not a noob anymore, and I only really have one last thing to encourage, and it'll sort of set you up a bit better in the game. So up until this point, you probably couldn't have had too much to touch on with skills. Like your hunting wasn't high enough to be good. Your mining was at the bottom, and so you weren't getting the best stuff you want. You were either trading and you didn't get what you wanted. You didn't get hunting skills or whatever there. But this next one is all about getting onto a mothership and repairing it. And you're wondering why? Well, it gives you very good skills, crafting skills. Now, crafting skills are hard to level up, and they suck to level up. I'm just saying, like, they're expensive to level up. It's kind of like hunting, how, when you start out hunting, it's never really great when you begin hunting, and that's why a lot of people leave. Crafting is a bit the same. You can still have success, just like hunting. You can still have success. It's just that the odds are against you. But if you go into a mothership and you start repairing, you'll get repairing vehicle skills, vehicle repairing skills, and that goes hand in hand with your crafting skills. So it's just like me shooting this thing right now. I get laser rifle skills, particularly for my rifle here, but I also get laser damage skills, which translate onto, you know, other laser weapon skills. So as you can see here, ranged laser damage skills, that's at much higher than my laser sniper skills, which is, you know, just specifically for laser rifles. I could take these laser damage skills onto a pistol that uses lasers, and, you know, that skill is there ready to go. It's the same thing with like the mothership and your crafting skills. When you go on the mothership, you'll get vehicle repairing skills, but then you'll also gain a bunch of these crafting skills, which will transcend how you play the game, essentially. From that point on, you're pretty much at a very good baseline. Like you've got armor, you've done some of the basic missions, like you know, if you get the maze hammer, you've done a very good basic mission. You did the tutorial, so you got a vehicle. You've sussed out the codex and mobs you like to kill if you're hunting, or places you like to be when you're mining. You've looked at some of the missions, whether it's the mining missions or whatever it is, and now you've gone ahead and gotten a bunch of crafting skills. Now, the reason why you're probably wondering why crafting skills is because in this game, if you can solve a problem, people will pay you for it. Just like in real life. It's just like real life. If you can make an item at a certain price and then somehow sell it for a cheaper price than what other people are, then people go to you because they want the cheaper price, okay? In this way, with crafting, you could craft your own weapons. You could craft your own amplifiers for mining. That's a big one, honestly. Crafting amplifiers is a big one. I think if you can do that, that's great. So, you know, these are things that make you more sustainable, and it takes you away from the auction house or other people's actual shops. So you don't have to go into someone's shop and, you know, go ahead and get a bunch of their stuff at this point. You can just simply go down to the crafting tabs, check out your blueprints and say, okay, I want to make a BC-20. Just go ahead and look at the information for it, and you can see all of the stuff it needs. So go and buy it at a certain price. Say you're only going to buy this at 1 ped. You're only going to buy that at 2 ped. And then at the end, you can sell it for a great markup and, you know, get exactly what you want out of that. Or you could just use it yourself. So for all these reasons, I mean, it's basically just so that you can be more sustainable at the end. For that, you'll be a much more competitive player because every day people, you know, players are selling weapons, they're selling resources, they're selling all of these things, and they don't do it because they don't make money. They don't do it because they don't get anything out of it. They always get something out of it, and they always do it as best as they can. And you can have a piece of that pie too. You certainly can. It's fine. And so at this point, once you've got those skills, you're definitely not a noob anymore. You're moving on in a great way from a first player perspective. Just remember that the game is very competitive. And there is much to do and keep doing. It's a strategy game. It doesn't matter about how good your aim is or anything. It's more about just how smart or how well are you, how economically inclined are you, how well do you manage money and stuff in game, and that will always go further. Keep in mind that other players don't have this mentality that I do, that, you know, it's an investment and all of that stuff. Everything's basically an investment at the end of the day. That's how I look at it. This game's no different. But some players, they just would rather go ahead and just play the game, just kill things, move on, and just have fun with the loot that they see and make their character look cool and stuff. And for those players, we need them. We need those players because they're the ones that buy everything at not a ridiculous price, but a better price than before you put it up. And so, you know, it gives people an incentive to keep going. Either way, you can't really fail if you just consider the time factor of everything. And the important thing is to enjoy it because it is still a game. Even though there is a real money factor, that it's still a game. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it isn't comprehensive, and I didn't do very good on the editing. I might have to put a disclaimer at the beginning because there's not going to be much editing with this. However, I do think it'll help newer players. Maybe they're just sitting here and listening. And yeah, it's mainly it's to solve the problem of when you get into the game. Most of the time, we don't know what the direction is. Like as a new player, you probably won't know what your direction is in the game, and you won't know where to get into the nitty gritty of the game. So, anyways, I hope it was good and effective in that way. If you need help finding a mission or a creature, looking online will always have the answer. Well, at least 9 times out of 10 will have the answer. If not, there's a rookie chat. So I'll show you rookie chat real quick. It's pretty easy to get to. So you come down here and you click on the tab here. You probably won't have all of these tabs, but go here and just get into it. Find all the people you need. Just drop a question and people will answer it. If they don't answer straight away, then just give it a few minutes, I guess, just like any other sort of chat. Anyways, with that said, that's going to be the end of the video. I know it was a long one. I know it was a rant. I know it was all these things. I'm going to put a disclaimer at the beginning so that people understand that what they're getting into is a pretty long video. Anyways, thank you for watching. Come check out the Twitch. You can watch me at twitch.tv/grandpafunk. I try and stream as much as I can. The schedule's still being worked out, but you'll find me on most days out of the week, definitely. Anyways, thank you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.